Well, hey crafty friends, it's Heidi Scott with DIY Dreaming, and on this video tutorial we're going to do 3 gingerbread projects for Christmas, and the twist is that they're going to have a pink theme. So as you're hopping on, say hello, let me know where you're watching from, feel free to sprinkle. I've been here in my craft room for several hours now, fiddling around, seeing what I could do with this idea of pink gingerbread, and I have some fun things to show you. So let's start out with tea towels, and we'll do one. These are these awesome tea towels that come from MagnoliaDIY.com, a package of 2, and I've been using those a lot lately. So this is the first tea towel that I made this morning. And I used bubblegum ink and this adorable stencil that is called Home for the Holidays. I just used the little house on the front. Isn't that cute? And then on the other side, I used a little bit of painter's tape to tape down the edges. And I used that same bubblegum pink ink. Oh, and this. I think this is called Houses and Trees All Over pattern. You guys, this is absolutely adorable. Adorable. So that's what I did with this tea towel. And with this one, I used this quad set. It has 4 pieces called Mrs. Claus Bakery or something like that. And it has a little gingerbread house in it, I'll show you, and then it has some other pieces like Mrs. Claus Bakery and Cafe. Here's that set. I'm going to show you what comes in it. It's adorable. This set right here is not brand new, neither was this one. It came out last year. And this I've used a lot, so my stencils look kind of cruddy, but this is that gingerbread house. And then it has this little gingerbread man, this hot cocoa station, and Mrs. Claus Bakery. Let me turn this a little bit so I'm actually in my video. Okay, so that was what I made this morning. And I want to show you, excuse me, how some of these gingerbread things that I did in the last 2 weeks in black and white can be just as cute. Seriously, just as cute in pink. So this was the gingerbread house. I'll show you that stencil in just a second, the new one that I did in black ink. And here's the one that's part of the Mrs. Claus quads that I did in pink. Here is my black and white house and trees tea towel, and look at what I put on the back of it. That's a piece of the gingerbread houses. And then this one is adorable, and I'm going to show you that in just a second. This is that big stencil that has a recipe for gingerbread cookies, and I think it would be adorable to do the same thing here in pink, but I only have 1 tea towel left. I need to order some more. So the pieces I was just showing you came from this set right here. This is called Gingerbread Houses, and it has this adorable, seriously, lollipop. Yeah, so that is what I have been up to this morning. And I wanted to mention that this ribbon right here came from Dollar Tree. They always have different colors of this plaid that's pretty darn nice, and I used my Surebonder Cool Shot hot gluing device, and I used fabric glue, which is, it's Surebonder brand. You can get it at Walmart, Hobby Lobby, pretty much anywhere that sells these hot gluing devices. They're low temperature, sells the fabric glue sticks, which the ones I've found are kind of creamy and they look like that. So this is my hot gluing device that I have dedicated to fabric glue. So I used that, which means I can totally wash and use these tea towels. No problem. So they can be used, washed, dried, displayed, used again. Yeah. Okay, so let's keep going. And let's switch gear for 1 second before we come back to one more tea towel. So, do you guys remember, let me move my camera. Okay, don't look at how messy that end of my room is. Do you remember, when was it? Just a few days ago, when I showed you how you could make this, I won't pick it up because everything will tip over, this two-tiered stand using a new stencil that is called Winter Essentials. Here's the one that I have not cut up yet. And then those are Winter Essential shelf sitters. I showed you how you could make a cute two-tiered stand, and I used this new color of chalk paste because this is a hard surface. That's why I'm using a chalk paste and not an ink. Ink is for fabric. This is a new color called Doe, D-O-E, and it's a great gingerbread color. But I started thinking this morning, wouldn't it be cute to do one side in the dough, D-O-E, and the other side in pink. Okay, so those tea towels were all done in an ink called bubblegum. Bubblegum permanent ink. That's what the tea towels were made in. We're going to use this, which is called Sugar Plum chalk paste. And it's a little bright, but I think it's going to be adorable. So I have this piece, and the back of it is empty. And where did I put that stencil? I got it out. Let me just look for a moment. Here it is. This chalk paste is called Sugar Plum. It's a little bright. If you wanted to tone it down a teeny bit, you could put some white and mix it up, some white chalk paste. But these little pieces, these little white pieces that you can order, they're pretty much symmetrical, and the stencil designs that come in this Winter Essentials stencil are pretty much symmetrical, so you really could do both sides, and that's what we're going to do today. I just want it to be reasonably say good enough. So I'm just going to lay this on here and pull out some of my Sugar Plum chalk paste, which it's getting a little thick. I probably haven't used it since Valentine's Day. So I will add some distilled water to it and stir. If you find that your chalk pastes are getting thick, you can try adding distilled water. That's what you want to use, not tap water, because those have impurities in them and you don't want to do a science experiment in your chalk paste. But anyways, most of the time, a little bit of distilled water will do the trick. You might have to put some distilled water in, let it sit overnight, close your jar, and come back to it in the morning. But that's generally what will help you out if you're okay. So tell me in the comments what you guys think about this idea of doing some pink Christmas decor. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Okay, I'm going to take this and throw it over here in my tub of water. And let me just show you because it is absolutely adorable. So there's one side with the dough chalk paste. Here's with sugar plum. And here's another one that I've done. Dough, chalk paste, and sugar plum. What do you guys think about that idea? Do this or this if you like that idea, or just tell me. And by the way, at the very end, if you would like my list of supplies, just let me know. And I would be glad to share that with you. There's so many cute sugar plum themed items. Okay, so let's go back to this other tea towel, and then we'll go on to do this little cutting board. All right, I'm going to open my tea towel up. Oh no. I just got chalk paste on my tea towel. Oh well, I'll put some ink over the top of it and it will be just fine. I'm going to grab a couple of paper towels. You could use the inking mat if you have that, or a piece of cardboard, or whatever you would like. Okay, so I have so many choices. I showed you this. This is called Winter Essentials, and I showed you the Mrs. Claus quads. Adorable little gingerbread house. And I also showed you this, Home for the Holidays. I'm kind of thinking we're going to do something with these gingerbread shaped houses. But let me, I was also thinking about this one. This is adorable, and what I was thinking with this one is that we could do all the words in pink and then do the cookies in brown. Let me see how my brown ink looks. Yeah, it looks great. Should we do that? Let me show you what the other options are. Oh, this is cute. I have not used it yet. One part of it says, "Oh snap," and the other part says, "Bite me." And they're just these fun little gingerbread men. There's also this set. It's called Christmas Minis A. And it has one of the little pieces is a perfect gingerbread house. So that would be something that's an option. And then this is an adorable stencil design from last year that says Old Fashioned Christmas. And I think this could look very gingerbread-ish too. And then here is the gingerbread cookie recipe stencil. And this is not gingerbread, but it's adorable. It's just all these trees. So, let me think. Yeah, I think we'll do this one. 2 colors. Normally, I would fuzz this on a t-shirt, a pair of jeans, or something like that a couple of times before I used it, just to make it so it's not super duper sticky. But it doesn't make any sense to fuzz on fabric before you use it on fabric, right? Okay, so let's start out with the ink, which is called Cocoa Bean. It's brown. And I'm going to do the cookies all brown. I'm sorry if you can hear that noise. We, if you're watching live, we had a little bit of hurricane damage and debris. Lost part of our fence, which is so minor compared to what other people went through, but I have a a yard guy here helping us get that all sorted out. Okay, let's do this one. These are going to all look like gingerbread cookies that are decorated with white icing. You don't have to do the words pink, the words in pink. I'm just doing that because today is my pink gingerbread theme day. Whoops, that's chalk paste. I need ink. Getting this on here. What is the trick? Well, I hate to call it a trick because it's not even a trick. What makes a difference, do you know, in whether a stencil is going to bleed, which means it has not a crisp impression? Do you guys know? I had somebody asking me that this morning. And the answer is there are several things that can cause that. One of them is, depends on what your surface is. If your surface is not completely flat, so you can get that stencil pressed down good and strong, then you can sometimes get some ink that pushes underneath your stencil and kind of spreads out and smears. So that's one thing, if it's not completely flat. Another thing is if you didn't get your stencil pressed down all the way really good, that can sometimes create issues. If you use too much medium, like just a ridiculous amount of chalk paste or ink, depending on what your project is, then sometimes you can end up pushing some of that through the holes in your stencil, some excess, and then it will look like it's bled a little bit. And then one other thing is if you, and I have to be conscious about this, if you go over and 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 over your project, then it will be likely that you have pushed some of the excess ink through the holes in your stencil. I just see a spot that I missed in that brown. So you want to be cautious not to do that. Okay, so that was your lesson. I had somebody ask me this question this morning, and so I figured if one person wonders that, then probably more people do. Let me get my fingers cleaned out before I pick this up. I'm a mess maker. Okay, so this is what that looks like, and I think it's going to be super cute. Oh, it's adorable. Oh my gosh, I love the brown. I'm so glad I did that. Okay, this is going in my tub. Over here. Super duper 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 cute, I think. And it did go through a little bit, so I'm glad I had something. You always want to protect the surface that you're working on. So, okay, let's do the last project. So I showed you this. in pink. This is called Sugar Plum Chalk Paste. And then I showed you my tea towels. I did both ends of them in pink. The ink that I used was called bubblegum. And this also, and those towels are from MagnoliaDIY.com. They're so nice. I have a frog in my throat this morning. I'm very sorry about that. This is also a surface. It has some little tack things in case you want to use that. And it has a piece of muslin, which I'll fiddle around with the bow off camera. I may use some of that. This thing is already painted. And like a lot of Magnolia surfaces, you could do both sides. So I was thinking for this one that we should do, this set. And I'm going to do this. And I may come back and add one more embellishment with this adorable little lollipop. Okay, I'm going to press that just a teeny bit on my jeans. It's not even very sticky. Let's put this off center just a little bit. I did not fuzz it very seriously because I've used this stencil quite a few times. Okay, so this is a hard surface, so we're going to use chalk paste, and chalk paste has a black lid. And really sorry about the yard noise outside. Big globs. This is what that looks like. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Okay, this is going in my tub of water. I'm going to have some cleaning to do here. I just got a blob of it right here, but it'll come off. It's chalk paste. So I will probably fiddle around with it when it's a little dry and add maybe another one or two of these little lollipops off to the same side here. And then I will come up with some kind of a cute little bow. I got out a variety of different ribbons and things that are this pink color. So that's what I wanted to show you today, pink. Think about pink. Pink can be a fun color to do some Christmas decor with. I wouldn't do a whole entire house in pink. But I think a few little pink accents could be really fun. And you could use this in, you know, a little girl's room. I think it's adorable. So I will jazz it up a little bit and get pictures, let you know what I did. Let me know if you would like my complete supply list, which is basically going to just tell you what these two colors are and remind you that ink is for fabric and chalk paste is for hard surfaces. So those were Sugar Plum and Bubblegum. I'm going to give you links to all the gingerbread stencils that I showed you today, to tea towels, to this set, and there was one other thing. Oh, and to this little board. So let me know if you would like that. Tell me if you've started doing Christmas crafting, either for gifts or maybe, for your own decor. I'd love to know. Alrighty, have a blessed and wonderful rest of your day, and thanks for joining me for this idea of doing pink gingerbread houses. I hope you liked it.